Good morning, literacy learners, and welcome to another wonderful episode of At Home with APS. My name is Miss Maggie.
And I'm Miss Mary.
We are so excited to continue our work with you on farm animals this week. But before we get started, we have another excellent message from one of our APS librarians.
Today's message, and please forgive me if I get this name wrong, is from Miss Ayer, or Mrs. A, at Sierra Antigua Elementary School. And their school librarian says, "Hello, Firebirds. I hope you're having a great summer. You deserve it. You worked hard this year. Keep on reading."
Fantastic. So we are so excited to continue our work today around this essential question. How are farm animals different than pets? Let's think about what we've already talked about this week. We talked about what are farm animals and sorted those into categories that are farm animals and not farm animals. What did we do yesterday, Miss Mary?
Well, we named some farm animals, and then we talked about what those farm animals were doing by adding in some details.
Fantastic. So now let's take a look at how are they different than pets? Because we talked about pets last week. So we have an activity for us today where we are actually going to practice comparing things that are different and the same between animals that are on the farm and animals that are pets. So as you can see on the left side, I have a chart here that says same. On this chart, I'm going to be writing down or drawing things that are the same between farm animals and pets. Miss Mary, what does your chart say?
Mine says different, which means that on this chart, I will be either writing words or drawing pictures that show things that are different.
And we're going to encourage you to practice this same activity at home by providing some sentence frames for you to practice your ability to talk about similarities and differences. The first one up here says, farm animals and pets are different because, and then to give your reason.
That must be where we're going to record some of the differences.
That's right. On this sentence here, it says, farm animals and pets are similar because, and then this is where I will draw or write what is the same between farm animals and pets. This is important to talk about and converse with other people about similarities and differences between categories because it helps us add in detail to the sentences that we say. So let's go ahead and we are going to build on this conversation with each other. And that's actually the goal of today's activity, is to build conversation with each other on our ideas. I might say one thing about farm animals and pets, and then Miss Mary might say something else, building on top of that idea further and further and further to help both build our knowledge base of farm animals and pets.
Now, Miss Maggie, we've been talking a lot about having conversations and taking turns. So make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. You'll say something and then I'll respond with something else and we'll go back and forth. Is that right?
That's exactly right, because that's how we have conversations as human beings together. We talk to each other and we connect our comments and our ideas to build the knowledge base of the group together that's having that conversation.
Now, that was a key word that you used there. You said connect. So if you're talking about one thing, my response or my idea should be connected to yours. So if you're talking about, let's say, baseball, which has nothing to do with pets, but let's just say you were talking about baseball, and then I suddenly went off on a totally different direction and I started talking about my trip to visit my son.
That doesn't
That's
really
not
connect.
connected. Okay, so we're talking about the same thing.
Exactly.
All
and
right.
that's something that we can practice here together with our students, and then you students can practice the same thing at home by having a conversation with another person and building on your comments. Let's show them how to do that. So first, I'll say farm animals and pets are similar because they are animals.
Well, they are animals. We just learned those things. We learned that fact over the last few lessons. They're both animals.
What is something that is different about farm animals and pets?
Well, one thing that we learned yesterday was that some farm animals live on small farms and some farm animals live on big farms, but they all live on farms. And pets don't necessarily live on farms,
Not always.
especially if we ourselves don't live on a farm because our pets live with us. So pets live in homes and farm animals live in farms. That's a difference.
Perfect.
So I could write that a difference is where they live.
Excellent.
And then I'll make a little note here for myself. Farms, comma, homes. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense to me. I can definitely tell how they might be different in where they live. Well, and let's think of another thing that's similar between farm animals and pets. Let's see. Farm animals and pets are similar because, are you able to think of a reason on how they are similar? Farm animals and pets are similar because they all need water. I noticed that yesterday in the book that we read about chickens, that they eat grain and water. Well, I noticed that my pets need water as well. So that's something that's similar between them. They need water.
Now, building that on that idea about how they are different, farm animals and pets are different because they eat different types of food.
You're right.
Now, if I had a dog, my dog might eat dog food. But as I learned over the last few days, a lot of farm animals eat grass or hay and that type of thing. So they might eat different types of food. Okay, so a difference is in what they eat.
Excellent. Yes.
Miss Maggie, can you think of another way that they're the same?
Well, I do know that they are similar because they are animals. I do know that they're similar because they need water. I also know that people take care of them.
Oh, that is true. People do take care of both their pets and their farm animals. So that's a good way of thinking about it. But it reminds me of another difference.
What difference is that?
Well, it's that a lot of farm animals have important jobs.
You're right.
And
what kind of jobs?
Well, we learned yesterday that a lot of chickens have the job of laying eggs. And so that makes it an important job for the owners to have those eggs. it makes it important because then the owners can have those eggs. So a lot of farm animals have eggs now, have jobs. Now I'm thinking about my pet, Molly.
Of course.
And she also has a job, but her job is more just of companionship. So she keeps me company.
I see. That's a good difference between the two.
So I'm just going to put jobs are different.
I think that's a good idea. So when you're speaking with others at home, practice keeping a conversation going by connecting and building what you say off of what the other person has talked about around the same topic. We built on our ideas in different ways. We made connections with each other through what we had in our background knowledge. We asked each other questions, or we built on our ideas by adding something extra to that idea. There's many different ways that you can keep a conversation going to build your understanding. This is something easy that you could practice at home with a grown-up, a sibling, or a friend.
Having conversations is such an important thing to learn how to do, so it's a great thing to practice. And a lot of us have to continue to practice that even as we get older.
Absolutely. This is a forever going skill. Now we're going to move into our read aloud for today, and we are going to be reading the story called Book, Book, Book. It's by Deborah Bruss and illustrated by Tiffany Beek. It's an Arthur A. Levine book, which is an imprint of Scholastic. And this was made in 2001. So this book is almost 20 years old. As we read, I'm going to ask you once again to think about the most important ideas in this story. Now, in a story, it's a little bit different than informational text on how we figure out those important ideas. And so I need to really think about the most important events that are happening in this story that help communicate the sequence of what's going on. And so that's how I really look at those main important ideas in the text. Now, for today, as I read this aloud, I'm going to stop every once in a while, and I'm going to model that think aloud for you on how to identify those most important ideas. Now, just like before, I'm going to start all the way from the left and read all the way to the end of the right and come back again as I read aloud. Down at the farm, all was well until the children went back to school and the animals had nothing to do. They had no rides to share, no tug of war to play, no one to scratch behind their ears or ruffle their feathers. In the bright morning sun, the horse hung his head. The cow complained and the goat grumbled. The pig pouted, the duck dozed off, and the hen heaved a sigh. Long about noon, with the sun high above the barnyard, the hen squawked, "I'm bored and I'm heading to town to find something to do." The animals followed her down the road. "Look," clucked the hen, "happy faces. This must be the place we're looking for. I'll go in and see if I can find something to do." "Nay, nay," whinnied the horse. "You're too small for such a big job. Leave it to me." This is the first time that the author has mentioned a sound that a farm animal makes. I think I need to pay attention to this because it may be important to how the story goes. The horse clipped-clopped in. Politely, he asked for something to do, but the librarian could not understand the horse. All she heard was, "Nay, nay." So the horse hung his head and clip-clopped out. Next, the cow plodded in. Politely, she asked for something to do, but the librarian could not understand the cow. All she heard was moo, moo. So the cow complained and plodded out. Now it was the goat's turn, and he trotted in. Politely, he asked for something to do, but the librarian could not understand the goat. All she heard was bah, bah. So the goat grumbled and trotted out again. Slowly, the pig ambled into the library. Politely, she asked for something to do. But all the librarian heard was oink, oink. So the pig ambled out to tell her friends. Up flapped the hen, and she announced, I am going in, and no one is going to stop me. Into the library she flapped. Book, clucked the hen politely. The librarian looked around and said, What's that noise? Book, book, clucked the hen. The librarian scratched her head. Who's that? She asked. Book, 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 clucked the hen quite clearly. Now I know why the animal sounds are so important, Miss Mary. The animal sounds let me know if the librarian understood what they are saying. It sounds like the hen is the only one that she could understand because her animal sound sounds like book.
I can tell you from a librarian's point of view, book is one of our favorite words.
So automatically you would recognize it. Oh, is this what you want? Said the librarian. And she handed the hen 3 books. Back at the farm, the horse, the cow, the goat, the pig, the duck, and the hen gathered around the books. The barnyard was filled with neighs, moos, bahs, oinks, quacks, and book, book, book. Their sounds of delight lasted until sundown. All the animals were happy except for the bullfrog. And do you know what he said? Well, based on what was important in the story, I think the bullfrog is going to tell us something using his animal sound. Let's see if we're right. I already read it.
I love that book.
Now, in thinking about that, where did I find the important information in this book? Well, in the text and the illustrations, I have to think about what I'm reading a little more deeply because the story will not automatically tell me what is important in this book.
You know, Miss Maggie, that's true. We've been talking about nonfiction books and those nonfiction text features that really make that important information stand out. For example, we know that some nonfiction books use bold print words to call our attention to those words. But I see bold print words here, but that's just a part of the story.
That's right. The author oftentimes will not tell us, hey, this is important, pay attention. We have to do something called making an inference.
Right, you've talked about that before. Explain your thinking there.
Well, making an inference means that I have to look at the text, I have to look at the illustrations and think about what was important. What do I think was important in what I just read? That's how I can make the inference, by using the text and the illustrations to help guide my thinking.
You know, I noticed something as you were reading, and I got to just sit back and look at the pictures. My brain started making connections, not just from the words, but from the pictures. So I noticed how important it was that I paid attention to what was happening with the story, with the words, but also with those pictures.
Exactly. Did you notice on how a couple of pages back, and I'll go back to that page here, there weren't any words on this page except for one word on the illustration. Right here, on the right-hand corner, it says farm. That's the only clue that I get about where the animals are going to next, that they are going back to the farm. Those are little things that we have to pay attention to. Now, when you read with a grown-up or on your own at home, you can do the same activity by practicing finding important information just by looking at the pictures and looking at the text that you read. You can then make inferences about what's important. This can help you become a more efficient reader over time.
Well, and plus, the illustrations in this book are fantastic.
Absolutely.
Did you get a close look at this illustration, for example? Do you notice who's driving? I love that the pig is driving the tractor and pulling all the other animals behind. That is such a fantastic picture. And if I hadn't paid attention to the illustration, I would have missed that entire part of the story.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and move forward in the story. Coming to our next activity. So we've been working a lot this week with sounds in words, specifically phonemes. Can you say phoneme? Phonemes are the individual sounds in words. On Monday, we practiced isolating each sound by itself in a word. Today, we're actually going to practice identifying those sounds in different words. I'll show an example of this. And we're going to play a game called Sound Bags. And I brought my bag with me today that has some of our sounds together. Now, remember that we're focusing on the sounds in the words, not the letters. And here's why. Well, actually, Miss Mary, do you remember why? Because I'm almost forgetting.
Well, we know that letters make different sounds. So, for example, sometimes A says A, and sometimes A says A. So the letter doesn't necessarily tell us which sound we're looking for, but the sound, that's the important part.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's even two letters that make a sound.
Yes. And we really want to key into how those sounds create words.
Got it.
That's why we don't use those letters at this point. That's what the phonics piece will be for later on when we practice reading words.
Because phonics connects the sound to the letter, and it's the letters that go together to make the written word.
That's right. So in this game called Sound Bags, this is a game that's been adapted from the Florida Center of Reading Research. And you can find that game and its resources on fcrr.org. Now, for this game, it's really easy. All you need is your own bag and just some objects from home. Now, as you're putting those objects into your bag, please make sure that you are choosing safe objects and objects that you're allowed to use. And if you're not sure if it's safe or that you're allowed to use that object for your game, please make sure you ask a grown-up at home. So let's play. I am going to match items together that either have the same initial or first, medial or middle, or final, the last sound. So I'll give an example of what that looks like. I will pull two items out of this bag. And I even have pictures of them on the screen for us, so that way you can see them at home. There we go. So the first one is a clip. Can you say the word clip?
Clip.
So here's a clip. And Can you say cat?
Cat.
Now, think about the words clip and cat. Do they have a sound in common?
Well, let me think about this for just a minute. And I'm going to kind of draw out my words. Clip, cat. Oh, I did hear a sound that they both have the same at the beginning of both words.
That's right. What sound was that? K. That's right. We've identified that same sound in clip and cat, the k sound. That's how phoneme identification works. We identify that sound in words that have that same sound.
Okay, I think I've got it. Have you got it?
Let's try the next one. The first one is paper. Say paper.
Paper.
The next one is pencil. Say pencil.
Pencil.
See if you can identify the same sound in paper and pencil.
Will you name these objects again with me? Paper, pencil. Oh, I think I heard something that was the same for both of those. I heard P.
That's right. They both have the same initial sound. Let's try another. The first one is book. And I'm going to borrow that book from right here.
We have a lot of books to choose from.
Oh, yeah. And the next one is box. Book, box. What's the same?
Now, I'm betting that our students at home are getting the hang of this.
Oh, I think so too.
Did you find that beginning sound?
That's right. It's B. Book, box, B. Those had the same sound. Now, I'm going to change it up a little on you this time.
Just when it got easy for us.
Right? So this time, we're going to start with the same thing as we did before, book. So book, tack, book, tack.
Well, now you're making me think. Okay, I'm going to draw out these words because I don't think I hear the same beginning sound. Book, tack. No, not the beginning. Book, book, tack. Ha. I see what you did there.
What did I do?
You put the same sound at the end of the word.
That's right, I did, because you can do the same thing with the final sound as well. Let's try that again, focusing on that similar sound pattern. We came back to clip and cup.
Okay. You ready, kiddos? You gonna help me out here? Clip, cup. We're on to you.
Are you?
We are. We know that you put that same beginning sound at the end again.
That's right. So not only do clip and cup have the same beginning sound, that k, but they also have the same ending sound. P.
Did you get both of those? K and p, beginning and end?
Isn't it interesting how many words have similar sounds together?
It really is. And this is a pretty fun game.
Let's try this next one. Paper and marker. Paper, marker.
You do it on your own this time.
Did you figure out the similar sound? That's right. It's at the end. They both make the sound at the end. Let's try just a couple more. All right, coming back to our cat, our little kitty cat.
I'm glad you don't have a real cat in that bag.
Oh, I would never have a real cat in this bag. He would not stay in there. Oh, there he is. Found him. Cat. And tack.
Let's draw these sounds out again. Cat, tack. It's not at the beginning. It's not at the end, which means it must be those medial or those middle sounds.
That's right. They both say ah in the middle. They both have the same short vowel sound. Let's try two more. First one is box and dog.
Box, dog. I found it. Did you find it?
I think they did. What was that sound that they had in common?
They both had an ah in the middle.
That's right. One more. Let's see if you can do this one. This next one is cup, pug. Which sound is the same? That's right. They both had the same short vowel sound in the middle. Cup, pug, Excellent work. Remember, you can play the same game at your own home as well.
That would be a lot of fun to play, even in the car. Our students might be able to look around and name objects as their parents are driving them. So, for example, they might see a sign and see that I, and also see a pine tree and see the ein, or the I, but also those ending sounds are the same too.
Absolutely. So there's many different ways that you could play this game. Now we're going to move into connecting those sounds to letters. So let's do our letter keyword sound warm-up. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. O, octopus, ah.
O, octopus, ah.
U, up,
U, up,
A, apple, ah. I, itch, I. E, ed, eh. Those were some of our vowel sounds. Let's practice some consonants now. T, top, t. R, rat, r. W, wind, w. J, jug, j. D, dog, d. P, pan, p. M, man, m. Now let's do some diagraphs. We'll just do a couple. T, H, thumb, S, H, ship, sh. Now let's do our long vowel sounds. E, peat, E. U, mule, oo. U, my apologies. U, mule, U. U, rule, oo. O, home, O. I, pine, I. A, safe, A. Next, we're going to be practicing encoding words. We'll be right back in just a second. Welcome back. Now we are going to practice taking the letters and sounds that we just practiced together right before the break and encoding words. When we encode words, we are actually practicing the spelling of those words. And we're going to be practicing with vowels, consonants, digraphs, some blends, and of course, our vowel consonant E sounds that we just practiced before. Let's go through the process of encoding. For example, say the sound W, W. Now, Miss Mary, will you point to the letter that says W, W? That's right, it's W. Let's do a couple more where I say the sound and you point to the letter that makes that sound. Okay. That's going to help us with our encoding. How about M? That's right. My apologies. Let me say the next sound because I accidentally interrupted you. I'm so sorry about that, Miss Mary.
T. A.
This one's going to be a little bit tricky. I.
Oh, I have to think about our new rules. So I know that it's the letter I, which is a vowel, but because it's a long sound, that means that it's an I, some sort of a consonant, and then an E.
That's right.
So I think what I'll do for that is I'll just say I consonant E.
Perfect. Let's try this one. J.
Can you say it one more time?
J.
J. J is J.
Excellent. R.
R. P. P. P.
O.
O. O consonant E.
Excellent. We're going to use those sounds now to help build some words and spell them out together. Now, how we're going to do this is I will say a word for Miss Mary to spell out. We will tap it out together, and then we will take each sound and put them up at the top to spell the word. Are you ready, Miss Mary?
I'm ready.
Here we go. The word is wit.
Wit.
Let's tap out the word wit. Ready? Here we go.
It.
Wit. Wit. So let's start with that first sound. What says W?
W.
That's right. What says I?
I.
And the last sound? T.
T. T.
Now, let's spell it.
W-I-T. Wit.
Now, let's spell it away.
W-I-T. Wit.
Now let's try another word. Map.
Map. App.
Map. Map. What's that first sound?
M. A. A. P. M-A-P, map.
Perfect. Now let's spell it away.
M-A-P, map.
Perfect. Make sure you're practicing with this at home. This is going to help you with a lot of spelling on your end as well. Let's try the next word. Jet.
Jet. Jet. Jet. J.
Perfect.
J. E. T. T. J. E. T. Jet. Jet.
Excellent. Let's spell it away.
J. E. T. Jet.
Let's make a harder word. Shop.
Shop. Shop. I know that one. That's a digraph.
Mm-hmm.
SH says sh. O.
Mm-hmm.
P.
Excellent.
SHOP. Shop.
Excellent work. Let's spell it away.
SH goes with the digraphs. O is a vowel. P, consonant. Done.
Perfect. Now let's make it a tiny bit harder.
Okay.
Let's do the word shrimp.
Ooh, shrimp. Okay, I'm going to really have to drag that one out. So I think I'll drag it out first, and then I'll try to tap those individual phonemes.
Perfect.
Will you do this with me? Shrimp. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of sounds. Let's begin at the beginning. Sh. SH. R. I. M. P. Boy, that game that we played yesterday with getting those sounds by themselves, this is really helping me out.
Well, good. And that's exactly what this should do, especially for more complicated words that have digraphs and consonant blends.
This was a good one. SHRIMP, shrimp.
Perfect. Let's spell it away.
SHRIMP.
Perfect. Now let's try two more words, especially using some of our new sounds this week. The first word is time.
Time. Okay, now, as I tap this, I'm going to really pay attention because I heard you use a long vowel sound.
That's right.
Time. Okay, that's easy. That's T. Now, I know in order to say I, it has to be an I, followed by a consonant, and then a silent E. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that E up there. Okay, M. And there was space for the M right there. Now, time.
That's right.
Time.
Perfect. Let's spell it away.
Time.
Perfect. Let's do one more word. Ready?
I am.
Rope.
Rope. Rope. R, O. In order for O to say its name, it's going to have to be O consonant E. Now, rope. I'll stick that P up there. Rope. R-O-P-E.
Excellent. Let's spell it away.
R-O-P-E. Rope.
Great job, Miss Mary. Now let's go ahead and let's move into some fluency for our last 10 minutes today.
While you get that started, I'll move our chart and I'll be right back to join you.
Fantastic. We're going to be moving into some fluency. While we practice decoding and encoding words, eventually we want to get to the point where we are automatic in recognizing those words. That can help us build up our fluency. We're going to practice with some word reading and reading sentences. Then we will read with expression. Let's first start with our word lists. Just like before, we're going to do one line at a time, and you may recognize a lot of these words. Are you ready? Ready? Here we go. Is, pat, jam, some, rid. How did you do? Let's try the next line. Here we go. This, dash, path, shed, math. Ready? Here we go. For, mend, damp, drop, print. One more line. Here we go. Mode, date, mute, wide. Excellent work. These were all real words that you can practice over and over again using the rules that we just practiced with for encoding and decoding. Let's try some sentences now and see if we can read those by scooping groups of words together. Let's start with the first sentence. All of these words should be words that you either already know or should be able to decode. Before we read, I want you to make sure that you take a look at the end of the sentence and notice what type of punctuation is at the end of that sentence. Ready? Here we go. This jam is made with a plum. Perfect. That was a statement. Let's try another one. Check out that punctuation mark. Ready? Here we go. I have a gift for him. Perfect. Take a look at the punctuation mark. Ready? Here we go. Can we run on the path? One more. Take a look at the punctuation mark. Ready? Here we go. Drop the map. It is damp. Now we're going to keep working with expression. When we practice working with expression on Monday, we looked a lot at how characters speak in stories. And oftentimes when we practice speaking like characters, it's because if we wanted to grow up and be actors or actresses in plays or in movies, we have to know how to speak like the characters that we are portraying or being in the play. So, Miss Mary, I have a fun activity for us today. We are going to pretend to be characters from the story Book, Book, Book.
Oh, this sounds like fun.
It's going to be amazing. So, we have a couple of practice little mini scripts where I will have you be the hen first this time, and I will be the horse. So, I'm going to look at my sentence. You can look at yours. And let's think, how do we want to express this? Go ahead and start whenever you are ready, Miss Mary.
Well, I'm noticing the punctuation marks. That's giving me a clue that my character, the hen, is showing some excitement. So I know that I need to bring some excitement into my voice. I also had to think about how a hen might sound if she were talking. I think I've got it.
Okay.
Look, happy faces. I will go in and find us something to do.
Nay, nay, you are too small for such a big job. Leave it to me. I imagine that the horse has a lot of confidence.
Sounds like it.
Let's try another one together. This one is kind of short. This would be something really good for our kindergarten students to practice along with us. How about you be the horse this time and I'll be the librarian? I'm looking at what the librarian's saying. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Nay, nay.
What did he say? Let's try one more. This one's going to be a little bit longer. And it's going to involve us going back and forth.
Okay.
Just like real people would do. Who would you like to be this time?
I want to be the librarian.
Perfect. I will be the head. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Book.
What's that noise?
Book, book.
Who's that?
Book, book, book.
Oh, is this what you want?
Perfect. I love how expressive you were with your voice, and you started including some movement in pretending to hand me a book.
Well, and you know, this book is perfect for practicing this type of thing. It seems like there are some books that just lend themselves to being acted out. In the classroom, we might call that reader's theater.
What a great idea to get students and reading involved in movement and action like that.
It also helps with remembering all those details of the story, which, as you said today, are so important to our understanding.
Absolutely. So we have done so many wonderful things today. We read a lot of really good words and practiced characterization. We played with sound bags and talked about how to identify different sounds in different words. What else did we do today, Miss Mary?
Well, I'm trying to think about everything that we did. I know that with our phonics chart, we practiced building words and especially attaching what we know about sounds to the letters that make those sounds. So we did the spelling part.
That's right. We also compared and contrasted farm animals and pets today. And we talked about how they were the same and different, really working on that essential question.
You know, speaking of same and different, one of the things that really was a challenge for me today was making those same or finding the same sounds in your words from the word bag. That was something I really had to think about.
And that's okay, because that's how we grow as learners. So we had such a wonderful time with all of you today, and we're going to be back once again tomorrow for our last day talking about farm animals and how they are different from pets. Once again, this is Miss Maggie.
And Miss Mary.
We want to thank you again for joining us today for At Home with APS Summer Edition. Have a great day.
Bye.